Hey Butterfingers, it's me Keisha aka Color Me Pynk, and I am here with this week's All Tea All Shade, and just like that, season 2 episode 5 review. Let's get right into it. So in this week's episode, we're going to start off with Charlotte, okay? So Charlotte is at her kids' school, and she's with Lisa and Herbert and Harry, and they're dropping their kids off so they can head to camp for, I believe, about a week or so. And they are elated as parents to have a week without their children. They can do what they want. They ain't got to have nobody bothering them and whining and complaining and, cleaning up behind them and feeding them and all of that stuff. So she and Harry, now that they have this week alone, they decide to have them some loud, intercourse, honey. And she's like, ejaculate on my tits. Like, let's do that. He was like, it ain't even my birthday. It ain't even a holiday, an anniversary. So he does it, and she goes to wipe it up, but there ain't nothing to wipe up. And she like, are you faking with me? Like, did you just fake an orgasm? He was like, absolutely not. So Charlotte and Harry end up going to the doctor to see like what's the gigiana, like what is going on, because either he lying or it's a problem, like, because where is the jizz? So the doctor lets Harry and Charlotte know that he has had a dry orgasm. His semen basically went to his bladder instead of his penis. Now, child, I ain't never heard of no stuff like this before in my life, but obviously it gotta be true for them to, make a storyline out of this on the show. And I was like, oh, does that really happen to men when they get to a certain age in life? They just don't have, ejaculations. They just, have the orgasm, but nothing comes out. Hell, that's a lifesaver for a lot. A lot of women, they gonna have to worry about getting pregnant or none of that. So the doctor basically tells Harry that he got to do some Kegels, child. And Charlotte shows him how to do Kegels, and I'm just like, what is the world coming to if I got to show my husband how to tighten up his scrotum? Like, fix it, Jesus. Then later on in the episode, they both attend Lisa and Herbert's 20th anniversary dinner. And while there, Lisa introduces her to this gallery owner, and they end up hitting it off and talking throughout the entire dinner. And he offers Charlotte a job, and she of course is very flattered, but she has not been in the art world in so many years, but of course she still loves it. But she's like, my kids need me now more than ever, but thank you so much for the offer. And he was like, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. And I think that at some point she is going to decide that she wants to go back into the work field. And I think that they will honestly teach her girls a lot, that, you have to follow your dreams. Like, you don't just have to stop your life to be a mom. You can do both, and they aren't little kids anymore. They're teenagers. And I think that she could be able to balance both ends. And then by the end of the episode, she basically jacks Harry off. And this time he actually nuts. And the nut was there, and they were both elated that they don't have the disappearing jizz anymore. I cannot with Charlotte and Harry, child. I cannot with them. They better not never, ever break Charlotte and Harry up, because we going to have problems. We going to have to box if they try to play us on that one. So Miranda is back in New York because, Brady just went through a horrific breakup and needed his mama, and she needed to be there for her son instead of running it behind Che. But, she is, I hate what they have done to this character. Like, if they get renewed for season 3, can we please stop it with this? Please. Nobody likes this storyline, writers. Nobody. It is annoying. Please stop trying to make fetch a thing. Jesus. So she can't sleep because Steve is up hitting the bag because he can't knock her upside her head. And she gets up to walk past him to go into the bathroom, and Steve's body is ripped, honey. And I'm like, you passing up this snack for Che Koala Bear looking self? Child, by Miranda, please give Steve a baddie, because he deserves better. Justice for Steve, honey. If you don't want him, I want him. Steve, a loyal, good man with a good body. honey. He willing to take care of you and please you in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? He a working man. He a good father. And you over there running in behind Chase, selfish yourself. Oh, I hate what they have done to Miranda. So she ends up telling him and reminding him that they have a family therapy session that day. So she goes into the bathroom to, start getting herself together. And she is just miserable being back in New York and being in that house, because I think it's taking her back to how mundane everything was before Che came into her life. So Che ends up texting her and was like, can't wait to see you Friday. And of course that made her coochie wet, and then everything was magically okay again in Miranda's world. And I'm like, oh my God. So they go to family therapy, and Brady tells the therapist, like, it's been 3 weeks. I'm over my breakup. What we need to deal with is these two and their breakup. Like, what's the tea, girls? Or y'all gonna get a divorce or separate? Like, what is going on? I need answers. And neither one of them wants to call it quits. And they're saying that they working it out on their own and they don't want to involve Brady. And Brady like, girl, I'm a grown man at this point. I'm, about to go off to college. Y'all need to say something. Like, what is going on? And Brady points out the tension in the house, how she miserable, Steve over there punching the bag and everything. And the therapist suggests that they make a permanent decision. And so Miranda was like, well, I guess I'll have to find a place. And Steve was like, no, I'll find a place. And she thanks him for, taking the bullet. And Brady then just tells them, well, hey, I got some tea of my own. I'm not going to start college in the fall. Steve is like, I support you. That's what you want to do. Miranda's sitting there ready to burst, but says that she ain't got nothing to say. But when she links up with Carrie, she tells Carrie how pissed off that she was and how she looking at Steve sideways because he's co-signing him not going to school. And Carrie was like, well, why you ain't say nothing? She was like, because we all know that I blew up, our relationship and our family. So, I don't want to make things worse and become even more of the bad guy, which you are. And you need to just sit in that heifer. Because I just still don't even like the fact that we haven't seen her get gone off on by Steve for cheating. Like, you put Steve through the ringer when he cheated, but then y'all just let Miranda just run off and not only cheat, but then come out as a lesbian, and Steve don't say nothing. Make it make sense, writers. Like, it's just not adding up and it's not making sense. So they end up getting to Che's apartment, because now she got an apartment in New York. So when she come to New York, she got a place to stay. But when they get there, lo and behold, her current husband, Lyle, is there. And the actor that plays Lyle is Kate Hudson's brother. So she looking like, what the hell is he doing here? But okay. Mind you, Carrie up here dressed like a hobo. Like, I don't know what is going on with the fashions for Carrie's character, but I need for them to bring Patricia Field back, because she would never. Like, I don't understand why Sarah Jessica Parker wants to be dressed like she is going to Woodstock. Like, I'm not understanding these fashion decisions that is going on with her. Like, it is horrible. And it's pissing me off. We know Carrie to be that girl. Just because she's a woman of a particular age now don't mean that she still wouldn't be that girl when it comes to fashion. Like, what are y'all doing? Ew, gross. So Miranda brings up Lyle being there to Che, and she was like, he'll be sleeping on the couch and you ain't got nothing to worry about. So they all sitting down drinking and talking, and Che admits that she and Lyle were in a polyamorous relationship at one point. And basically she was on some, you either gonna do this or we not gonna be together type of time. So he went along with it and they enjoyed it for, I guess, the moment or whatever. So at that point, Carrie was like, you know what? It is time for me to go. Too much information for me. Y'all handle y'all scandal. So she dipped, and I would have been left, because don't nobody want to be around these weirdos. So when the night winds down, Miranda and Che goes into the bedroom so they can, get freaky deaky. Can we get freaky tonight? And lo and behold, Lyle is in the bed knocked out. And so Che was like, I ain't gonna bother him. You know what I'm saying? We'll just figure it out. But the couch out in the living room is broke, so they can't sleep there. So lo and behold, they end up sleeping in the bed with this man. And I'm like, what is going on here, Miranda? This is really your life. This is really your life. A 50-something-year-old woman up here laid up with her lesbian lover and her lesbian lover's husband. What? Like, if Steve knew about all of this, he would cuss you out for filth. So they laying in a bed, and Che get to playing with her kitty cat, and she like, "Are we really gonna do this?" And she was like, "Oh, he sleep or whatever." So they get to making out, and she playing with her cootie cat, and Miranda just moaning loud as I don't know what, like this man ain't gonna wake up. I'm like, y'all really about to have sex laying next to this man? Like, what is going on? What is? Am I watching real sex on HBO? Like, what is going on? Is this Cinemax After Dark? So while they get going at it, Lyle wakes up and joins in, and Miranda like, wait a minute, huh? She was like, I don't know if I'm down with this. But then she get to thinking about it, and she was like, F it, I'm gonna just go ahead and go with it. And I think it was more so of her feeling pressure to, because she wants to please Che, and she know that she gave Lyle that, ultimatum in the past, and she just trying to be this girl that she really is not, to be with this chick. And I'm like, ugh. So they trying to do it, but lo and behold, she end up being the third wheel and end up getting a Charlie horse and ruining the moment. And then she tell them to go head on and finish, and she'll go outside and go lay on the couch that's broken. Girl, Miranda, if you don't get your life together, I'd rather you been a drunk than this much of a fool. So Che end up coming out there with her and telling her that she miss her, and they end up laying on the couch together. And I'm just like, boo, boo. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes this storyline. Boo. Can we please be over this? Like, I'm so over it. Like, this is the one downfall for me for this show outside of Carrie's horrible fashion. Like, I'm sick of it. Ugh. Then we go to my girl, Lisa, who honestly needs to just be like the new Carrie of the show, because that's what she giving. Like, honestly, truly, it's sad to say, but Carrie can go and Miranda can go. Let Charlotte, Lisa, get a professor, a bigger storyline, and maybe find somebody else. Because Seema, for me, is like the knockoff version of Samantha character, if you want to be honest. But I get excited when I see Lisa come on screen because she is fabulous. She serves good fashion. I like her storyline. I love seeing this rich, black, powerful woman married to this rich, black, powerful man. I love her and Charlotte's friendship. Like, I love her storyline, but Carrie and Miranda is just not doing it for me, for real, for real. I want them to give us a spark of the old Carrie. Just because she a middle-aged woman, they don't mean that she got to be out here having sex with everybody, but let her be vivacious. Give us some life. Like, Carrie is boring now. Like, it's like they've made Carrie Sarah Jessica Parker. Just like they did Miranda, making Miranda Cynthia Nixon pretty much on the show. And it's just like, no, stick to the script. But anywho, I done got off topic. So Lisa kids head off to camp as well. It's her and her husband's 20th anniversary. So they're going to have this epic dinner where she reveals to her husband that she invited her father. Now, her daddy and her mother-in-law don't get along with each other, because don't nobody like the mama-in-law. That Louis Vuitton outfit she had on at the school, honey, that green, everything. So they out having drinks, and Herbert says that he's not going to run for city comp. And he says he's not going to do it because, a lot of weight will end up falling on her around the house and everything, and then helping him with the campaign. And he was like, he felt like that's unfair to her. You know what I'm saying? And, she was very appreciative that he thought about her. So it's the night of their anniversary party, and ain't nobody there except for her mama-in-law, and then Charlotte and Harry arrive, and like 2 other people there. And she like, maybe it's traffic. The mama-in-law was like, I got here at 7:15, wasn't no traffic. And we like, shut up, demon, shut up. So, her father ends up arriving, and her father is played by none other than Billy D. Williams. I'm loving that they got him to play her father. Love to see Billy D pop out. He's always going to be that guy. And at this point, they wondering, like, where is all the guests? Because still ain't nobody really there. And so she like, Herbert, look at the invite list, like see what's going on. So he goes and look at the invite list and realizes that his dumb butt forgot to send it off. He forgot to hit send. And she like, you gotta be effing kidding me. So she is pissed off because they got a whole room set up with a long table that could fit like 30 some people, and it's just like 6 of them there. They got all this food that's gonna go to waste. So she is hot. Now, mind you, while the kids been gone, yeah, they been kicking it with each other, but they still been working a lot, which is a part of their problem, is that they work too much. So when it comes time for dessert, Lisa realizes that she forgot to order the cake. Once again, because she over here working too much. His mama then try to blame everything on her about the cake not being there, and then about nobody showing up even though it was her husband's fault, and saying, you know, when I was a wife, I was able to do everything. I made my anniversary cake. And her daddy jumped in like, girl, be quiet. Like, my daughter is that girl, okay? Shut up. I want to fight her with mama. Like, she got too much lip, and I'd be glad when Lisa cuss her out instead of trying to be nice and accommodating to this heifer. And so her daddy ended up going off and saying that Herbert pretty much is all about the dollar. Like, so your son ain't no better than my daughter because he money hungry. So her daddy don't really care for Herbert, and his mama don't really care for her. And now we see why they didn't want them in the same room together. So to stick up for her husband, Lisa stands up and announces that Herbert is running for city comp controller. And everybody like, oh my God, that is so great. Because, you know, it's a selfless job. It ain't a lot of money in it. And so, you know, she did it to make her husband look good and to support him. But I think that that's going to be problems with that. I really do, because I think things are going to end up falling on her. And I think that he is going to be putting a lot of things on her and basically treating her film, her documentary, like that can be placed on the back burner. My stuff is more important than yours. So I see trouble afoot for these two. Lastly, we go to Carrie, who we see at breakfast with her ex-coworker Jackie, and she ends up giving him a copy of her latest book, but his stomach end up hurting because he ain't used to eating breakfast or eating period before 12 o'clock noon. So he rushes off to the bathroom to go do a number 2 child. And we see Carrie's old boss from Vogue, Edith, trying to like skimper by and not, you know, cause attention to herself. But Carrie ends up spotting her and was like, Edith, girl, what you doing here? Hey. And she was like, oh, hey, girl. And she was like, you know, she basically admits that she'd been avoiding Carrie because, you know, she knew about Big passing. And, you know, a lot of people don't know how to handle, you know, death and stuff like that. So it was really awkward and weird for her. So Carrie asked her to shout out her new book because, you know, it'll really help with the sales and everything. And Edith was like, well, if I shout your book out, I'll have to shout everybody else's book out, so it really wouldn't be fair. But I'm working on a new magazine for women of our age. And Carrie was like, well, was it? What you say, girl? Our age? Like, girl, you old enough to be my mama. What you talking about our age? But she ain't say that, but she was looking like that. So, the lady was like, I want you to come to this event to see how everything is popping. And Carrie was like, okay, you know, I'll do that. Now, mind you, Edith did mention that she got her new boo thing or whatever in her life. So I hate Carrie's new style, by the way. Like I said, we've talked about this, but I just hate it. I just absolutely detest it. It pisses me off so bad. So she links up with Seema and brings up this whole age, you know, factor with her. And Seema was like, girl, you are not elderly. Absolutely not. And I was like, well, you can't tell by the way she dressed, sitting up there with Seema wearing a Davy Crockett hat, one of Moses' old robes, and a pearl necklace. Like, what is going on with these fashions? What? Sarah Jessica Parker is literally one of my favorite human beings on earth. She is one of the people who, like, made me the woman that I am today. Like, Carrie Bradshaw will forever be a staple in my life. Like, from her fashion to her being a writer, being a single woman in the city, living her life, the ups and downs and relationships and friendships. But most of all, it was her fashion that we gagged for every episode. We couldn't wait to see what she was going to pull out the closet next. And the looks from this season is giving Liz Claiborne. It's giving Eddie Bauer. It's giving Ann Taylor. Okay? It's giving Woodstock Lilith Fair. And I'm not feeling it. And I need for them to stop it immediately. So Seema tells her to go to the event anyway and work that ish so she can get her book featured in the magazine. Like, you got to, pay to play. So when she was out with Jackie, she had got a random text message from this man. And she was like, you got the wrong number. While she was Seema, she gets another text message with a photo from the same dude. And she was like, you got the wrong number. He was like, no, I don't. This Carrie Badshaw. You don't remember me. My name is Marlon Schaefer. And she was like, I don't know no Marlon Schaefer. Like, who is this man? And by the way his outfit was, no. He looked like he should be in a Gap ad. Like, absolutely not. So Carrie ends up going to Edith's event, and it's literally filled with elderly women with like rocking chairs and wheelchairs and all types of stuff. And she is looking like, why am I here? But Gloria Steinem ends up being there and gives this phenomenal speech. And Carrie pretty much realizes, like, oh my God, this was not a bad thing. This was a good thing. This is like women that will support me and what I got going on. Now, mind you, she ends up running into Mitzi. Mitzi is also there. And Mitzi was like, girl, so what's the tea with you and Marlon? She was like, Marlon? She was like, yeah, I'm the one that gave him your number. I wanted to hook you up after the last time we saw each other, and I saw how sad and stuff you were. And so Carrie looking like, girl, you should know better that I ain't gonna talk to that man. So while Gloria Steinem is giving her speech, Mitzi ends up sending in her a deep pic showing Marlon's Peter Weeder, because it's known that he got a third leg, honey. And Carrie's looking like, ew, gross. Ain't nothing about this turning me on. I'll pass. So at the end of the event, she goes up and tells Gloria Steinem how much she, admires her and appreciates her. And then she talks to Edith and says, will you promote my book for me in your magazine? And Edith was like, we already had a discussion about that. She was like, no, I'm sorry. So Carrie was like, I really thought that you invited me here because you thought I was like in this age bracket. And she was like, no, I invited you here because I want you to invest $100,000 into my magazine. And she was like, what? So this ain't had nothing to do with my age? And she was like, no. She was like, I know because of what just recently happened with your husband passing that you got some deep pockets now, honey, and I want you to invest. And Carrie hit her with a one-hitter quitter and was like, well, if I invest $100K with you, then I'll have to invest $100K with everybody. So Edith was like, okay, girl, you got me. Touche. Now, Gloria Steinem ends up walking by, and Carrie was like, look, can we get a picture all together? So they take a picture, and Edith was like, girl, let me see your phone because, people done me dirty in the past. So she going through the pictures and scroll past the DP. And she said, Carrie, what you doing with a photograph of my man's Marlon's Peter Weeder? And she like, what? She was like, yes, that's my man. Are you messing with my man? And Carrie was like, absolutely not. Somebody tried to hook me up with him and they sent me that. And so now Carrie is, embarrassed and like, oh my God, how much you want me to invest? Because she ain't got the upper hand no more. And so she was like, you accept checks? And she was like, no, PayPal me. And the episode went off. I did like that part because it brought me back to old Sex in the City, with Carrie having her mishaps and flubs and embarrassing moments. But it's just the fashions for me and her boring personality. Like, boring. But I'm still very much enjoying the show. Overall, I'm going to give this week's episode of And Just Like That a B+. But I'm just really here for Lisa's character. She's my favorite, and that's crazy that she's my favorite now over Carrie, but it is what it is. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought about the episode. Do you share my sentiments about Miranda and Carrie's characters and Carrie's fashion? Let's talk down below. Make sure to thumbs up this video, you guys. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell button. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.